Whoa!
Welcome to the What's Already podcast, where we fashion ourselves cinematic judge and jury. My name is JJ Crowder. I'm here with my co-host, Alec Burgess.
Let's get it.
We appreciate you tuning in. Go ahead and hit that follow, like, subscribe, bell notification button, all those fun things that you do to keep up with what our episodes that are coming out, as well as helping us grow the podcast, which we really appreciate. So, thanks for tuning in and listening, watching, whatever it is you're doing. We are here today to review The Menu. It was released November 18th, 2022. It was written by Seth Reese and Will Tracy. It was directed by Mark Mylod. It stars Ralph Fiennes, Anya Taylor-Joy, Nicholas Hoult, Hong Chow, Janet McTeer, Paul Adelstein, John Leguizamo, Amy Carrero, Reed Birney, and Judith Light. A young couple travels to a remote island to eat in an exclusive restaurant where the chef has prepared a lavish menu with some shocking surprises. This show was a shit show, man. Like, it was
It started out just crazy and it got crazier from there.
yeah.
It was nuts.
I've been looking forward to it because I love Ralph Fiennes. I like Anya Taylor-Joy. I love Nicholas Hoult. John Leguizamo is one of my favorites, period. And there were so many big people in this cast that I was quite surprised by. And I, I love horror. I love that kind of slasher. I'll be honest, like, if you haven't watched this movie yet and you're looking for something that's like extremely violent, extremely scary, this isn't that.
Not it.
This isn't that. So it caught me off guard. I was expecting a little more violence. I was expecting a little more horror elements to it. And it was more like this just character-driven comedy, drama,
Horror comedy.
Yeah, I don't even know how to categorize this movie. But I will say that it had both very good parts and some parts that I was not really thrilled with, that I just didn't think worked. But I'm interested to talk about it for sure.
Interesting movie for certain. Definitely a very original idea.
Mm-hmm.
But $1,250 a motherfucking plate. What is wrong with this restaurant?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I mean, you say a plate, and they say a plate, but it was like, what was it, 5 courses?
Yeah.
So, I mean, was it $1,250 a course? Was it $1,250 for all 5?
I hope it wasn't $1,250 a course. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Those weren't even courses.
I mean, but if you think about it, like, I don't know, there was some, yeah, but I think that was after realizing that I wasn't watching the movie that I thought I was going to be watching, that my favorite part of this movie was the fact that it was just this giant satire on our obsession
with food
with
and
food.
paying ridiculous amounts for it, because if it's more expensive, it clearly must be better.
Yeah, and watching like Food Network shows and like cooking shows, like, which I can attest to because we watch those in my house more than I would care to, but there are some that I enjoy. But I've never watched them and been like, yeah, I'd pay $100 a plate for that. You know what I mean? Like, I watch them and go, that's interesting. I wonder if we can make that at my house. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So for me, like, the whole food culture, and I consider myself a foodie. Casey and I go out to eat quite often, and we love to go try new food, and we like to, you know what I mean? So, and I've eaten some very expensive meals. I've never eaten $1,250 5-course meals. I think my most expensive was in Arizona, actually, Scottsdale, at the Phoenician Resort. They have a restaurant in like the basement of a resort, and it cost, I don't remember the name of the restaurant, but we went to the Fiesta Bowl in 2009. We went for dinner the night before, and I spent I'm trying to do the math in my head, maybe like a third of the 12.50. So I mean, it was
I'm Applebee's people, so
yeah.
that's kind of like high class right there is Applebee's. So anytime anybody's like, yeah, it's like $40, $40, what the fuck? My eye starts twitching.
I love that.
Applebee's 2 for $20.
Yeah, we have and that's our normal kind of like if we're going out, that's kind of where we're headed is like a Chili's or something like that. But we do like we have a place in it's really far South Salt Lake, Draper, Sandy area. That's I can't even think of the name of it off the top of my head right now. But it's an Italian joint. But I mean, we spend on a crazy night there, bottle of wine, maybe a cocktail for me, some coffee after the fact. You know what I mean? Like full on holy shit dinner. I'm spending $160. You know what I mean? And that's like for me, like that's a once every maybe 2-3 times a year.
Yeah.
We do that. You know what I mean? And so it's like, yeah, I can't imagine $12.50 for a 5-course meal. That's crazy.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I enjoyed the satire aspect too.
Mm-hmm.
It made me chuckle because I am Anya Taylor-Joy's character. 100%. Like, what is this? This isn't food.
Yeah.
Type of a thing. Why am I here? This is dumb. Absolutely, that's me to a T. So I was really enjoying specifically her character as they were being served their courses.
Yeah. When I was laughing at Ralph Fiennes, like openly mocking these people, like by serving them nothing but sauces, right? Like we're not giving you bread.
Yeah. No bread.
We're giving you condiments that you would normally eat with bread. Like it was such a great moment where I'm like, okay, that's funny. And then to watch all of them eating it and getting excited about it, you know what I mean? And talking about it's the experience and the ambiance. It's like, dude, you're eating fucking glorified ketchup. Like,
yeah.
Or you're dipping your spoon, your wooden weird spoon, like those the little wood spoon look like those little, you remember those little ice creams that you got in school, like that came with like the knot spoon, flat piece of wood or whatever. And he's dipping it in like olive oil and vinegar. Like, that's pretty much what you're doing. So I was laughing my ass off the whole time at just the ridiculousness, because sometimes that's how it is. You know what I mean? Like, I'll tell you, when I went to that place in Arizona, I wish I could remember the name of the restaurant. The food was amazing. Don't get me wrong. Like, it was outrageously good. But the one place where I am definitely like Anya Taylor-Joy's characters, I love good food and I like ridiculously good food like that. And I will take the insanity food. But what I'm not for me, it's the ambiance of a place. Like I walk into a place like that and I'm uncomfortable. I'm there because Casey loves that kind of restaurant, feeling like you're spending a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like you go in and you walk in and they put the little napkin on my leg and and it's like white for a certain course. And then, or you'd think it would be white. So they said it was white, but I was wearing black pants. So they literally swapped my napkin, pulled it off my leg, and laid down a black one to match my pants. And I was like, that just give me a fucking paper towel. You know what I mean? And Casey's like, see, and she just fits right into that world. You know what I mean? Like she just molds right into it. So she's like, yeah, that's great. I think that's wonderful. And I'm like, what the fuck difference does it make? Like, are you shitting me? I'm going to end up with some sort of sauce on my shirt before this thing's done with. So it doesn't even fucking matter what color my napkin is. Anyway, so it was really funny to watch like both sides of that, because I would love the food. Like there was a couple of courses that he served. I was like, no, I want to eat that. But I couldn't imagine sitting in that restaurant. Like I would be just uncomfortable the whole time I was there.
Oh yeah. Everybody could hear your conversation first of all.
Yeah.
Which mostly would have been like, how do I eat this?
Oh,
do I use the fork or the spoon?
Yeah. Well, it goes back to like one of the best lines in the movie. which you've seen in the trailer like a ton. He's like, you got to try the mouthfeel on the mignonette, and she's like, don't say mouthfeel. Just loved it, because that's the kind of shit that most people have no idea. If it weren't for like the cooking shows and like things like that, they wouldn't even know what mouthfeel meant. You know what I mean? In regards to food. So yeah, the satire piece of this movie was fantastic. Fantastic. I will say, to kind of bounce off of that though, while I enjoyed the satire, what I was sad about was the lack of violence. And I don't even need the scary. Like, if you pitch me a show about a chef that's pissed at his customer base and brings in the worst of the worst, people that have offended him, whatever it is, we didn't know in the preview. We just knew wasn't going to go well for him. And you even show me in a preview this scene where they're like, we're giving you a 45-second head start, and you take off running. But then, like, there's only a handful of pieces of actual violence. In fact, Anya Taylor-Joy's character probably has the most violent scene in the joint when she's fighting off the maitre d' lady later on. So it's like, I wanted more of that. Like, and I get, like, it was leading up to the final scene, right? Because he made the whole, spoiler alert, he made the whole restaurant, the whole group part of his final dish, which I was cackling my ass off the whole last 5 minutes of that movie, watching him describe this like elevated shitty s'more. So I appreciated that, but like I think I would have enjoyed a little bit more if, like, we have our 12 people that are in the restaurant, or 15 or whatever it was, and more people were biting it until you're down to like half of that are part of the final dish. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you really only lose one, Nicholas Holt's character.
Yeah, that's it. The other guy loses a finger.
Yeah.
Which they didn't even really show.
Which I'm okay with.
Well, sure.
You know. But yeah, you don't have that kind of violent, everybody's still around at the end. I agree. Lose a couple in the woods when they're running.
Yeah, I mean, like, have, like, for every course somebody has to die, right? Like, and that to me, that would have been interesting. And you could have even made it like this foreboding shitty thing where after they die, like, and I think it would have been more effective if they just die and then there's an empty seat. You know what I mean? But they still put their plate at their seat. Oh, fuck. That would have been great. And you just watch the group whittle down and their sins come out each time, they die or whatever it is. The reason that they were there comes out. Cause that's the other thing that we get a couple of them. Like you get like the hedge fund guys. Yeah. The tortillas point out quite a bit. The old man's buying hookers and cheating on his wife. And that like the group of hedge fund guys or like the business guys are assholes. And the actor's kind of like he's a dick, but like he's just an washed up actor or a never been actor that's trying to stay relevant. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like there were other people, and eventually you get the one that's a critic, the food critic lady, and then his asshole mom that's in the corner. But it's like, I want to know, they missed to me a lot in that too. Like, I think they could have had, for me, like I would have made, it was a pretty short movie, which is good, but I would have cut out a lot of like the angsty fucking talking pieces. And for every person that dies up until the point that we get to the end, I would have had like a brief 2-3 minute scene of them before, you know what I mean? Like the lead up to, like, Nicholas Holt's character, for example, we hate him by the end because we find out he knew what this whole fucking thing was. And he still brought Anya Taylor-Joy, who wasn't supposed to be there because the other chick dumped his dumb ass. And so I think it would have been interesting, for example, instead of before he bites it and his whole scene there, instead of them and making him explain it, or you have that weird tense moment, like have a cut, right? And show him. And I'm not usually a fan of this, but I think it would have been effective in this movie, at least to me. Have him show him reading and writing these emails and then his girlfriend breaking up and having a panic attack, knowing I've got to find someone, and then hiring Anya Taylor-Joy to fill in that place. No, I think that just would have been very effective to give like this, the ominous, oh shit, everyone's gonna fucking die.
How do you love food so much that you know you're gonna die and you still go to the restaurant? Like
Yeah,
if you told me I was gonna, go to Jack in the Box and straight up bite it, I'm going to Carl's Jr.
dude.
Like I'm changing my plans.
When I was a kid, people stopped going to Jack in the Box for like a decade because some people got sick eating Jack in the Box, let alone knowing you're gonna die, and probably not in a great way.
Yeah. I mean, I have to think like he probably thought it wasn't really truthful,
Sure.
right? Because, you know, who would think that? But if I had the head chef telling me, yeah, I'm just going to kill everybody who comes in, I would just make other plans.
Yeah, no shit. But at the same time, it was genius too, because the whole time you're wondering, why the fuck is he so calm? Like, he's the only one that's not like,
Freaking out.
yeah, he's just like, no, I want more of the food. And then he's still worrying about offending the chef by taking pictures. And you know what I mean? He gets his tortillas, and that's his shit as he's taking a picture. It's like, damn. So I did like the way that played out. I just think they missed they could have made this a more shocking and tied the shocking elements into the actual really good story character development that actually happened. Because from a story perspective and characters, it was great. It was phenomenal, even watching just like this group of rich fucking assholes bite it at the hands of a chef who they made famous. So yeah, it was so interesting to me. And then the turnout, you know how it turns out that like his whole thing is he's successful, he makes a ton of money to the point that he lives on an island with his restaurant, and it's so exclusive. And yet the thing that he wants to do, he's mad because he's unhappy because he would rather make a fucking cheeseburger. You know what I mean? Like that's the part that, and I thought that was a genius moment too when Anya Taylor-Joy's character figures out, no, I got to show him that what's important to me is the things that are important to him. Make me a fucking cheeseburger, like the cheeseburger. So
Mhm.
I really enjoy, yeah. Just that's what I guess that's what I'm saying. Like the character development, the story, so good.
Oh, hands down. The only time a cheeseburger will ever save your life is in
For,
this restaurant.
and
But I
that
liked it.
cheeseburger was greasy.
Yeah, it looked good. I liked it too because it was like just this when you get to this higher echelon of food, kind of, you get these real food snobs, where everything needs to be a story or it needs to have a reason, how you present it, and all this mumbo jumbo, which does not matter. How does food taste? And most chefs don't get into food at that level. They get into it at the I can make a good cheeseburger level. Like,
Mhm.
or they start out at the bottom and work their way up type of thing. So the love of cooking isn't instilled in them when they're doing something with a scallop, a
Mhm.
single solitary scallop.
Mhm.
It's down where they're actually they're throwing a steak on the grill or something like that.
Yeah.
So it was kind of refining his roots of cooking.
Yeah, and I love that. And even like famous chefs that are there, like you think about Gordon Ramsay, for example. Like most of his money now comes from his TV empire, but the guy's got restaurants all over the world. But he started out as a fucking burger chain, like a fancy burger restaurant. Like that's what he was known for, was his burgers. You look at like Michael Simon, who was one of the Iron Chef guys. Like that's what he's from Cleveland, Ohio, and he owned a series of restaurants called B Spot, burgers, brats, and beer. Are you shitting me? Like that's the part that I think you're completely correct. Like we watch these shows and we get all hoity-toity about, oh, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go there, and I'm gonna have an amuse bouche, and I'm gonna have this bullshit. Fuck off, dude. Just give me a fucking hot dog or a hamburger or a fucking bowl of spaghetti, and I'm game, dude. Like, and yeah, again, it was, I love it. It was so funny to watch that transition. what I thought was really interesting too is like this group of sous chefs that were just ready to fucking die. Like they were so part of this dude's crew that, yep, we're gonna die with you. Fucking burn it all.
And that one chef who pitched the whole idea.
Dude.
Like, how do
Right.
you go to there where it's just, hey, chef, I got an idea. Okay, we
Yeah.
kill everybody.
Motherfucker. Well, and I love like the moment when you realize that they're in it too. Like this isn't just we're going to kill the guests. When that dude comes out, that the first guy, and he's like, look, his dream is to be like me.
But he sucks.
But he's not as good. He'll never be it. And the dude just plugs himself. Like I was like, oh shit, this is not I was like, but that's more of what I wanted, right? Is that shocking? Whoa, I did not see that coming. Like, holy shit. So, and then that moment, like you realize, and you kind of feel it with the group of guests in that moment with them. You're like, oh, this shit just got real. Like, this isn't just they're mad at us. Like, this is we're all gonna die. Everyone is dying.
Nobody's getting out.
Yeah. It was nuts. Yeah.
Yeah. And when I first kind of walked into this movie, I thought it was just he killed every single one of his guests that showed up. And like that was the kind of funny rub, is you paid all this money to go get hunted for sport, which wasn't the case. And it was just this one-time deal because you had that older couple that'd been there like 11 times.
Yeah.
Like, shoot. You're a regular at an exclusive restaurant on an island.
Yeah. That's $12.50 a plate.
Yeah, I wish I was that rich to where I could be a regular at a place where I have to spend someone's entire monthly rent on a plate.
Stupid.
Ridiculous.
Stupid. I love too the moment like where he's talking about his investor, his angel investor, and then that's like he fucking hangs him over the ocean and just drowns his ass. Just drops him in the ocean with the wings, and you're like, oh shit.
There's no going back.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, wow.
Like you could probably explain away your sous chef committing suicide.
Sure.
You know, with stress or, you know, the not being up to the cuff with the rigors of kitchen life.
Mm-hmm.
But after you drown a dude, you there's no going back.
You're full on committed at that point.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're done. Well, and you know what? Speaking of the dude that offs himself in the restaurant, like the fact that I forgot to talk about the fact that like the critic and her weirdo dude that was there were like, oh, no, it's not real. Like they just were, and they were like almost giggling because it was like to them, it was, this is just something new to impress us, right? Like, and so for me, like I've always thought that, like, I don't like, and this is ironic, or you can call it, I don't know, I can't think of the word right now, but I mean, we critique movies and TV shows all the time. So for me to shit on critics, but I think we do it because we enjoy talking about the movies and we understand that everything that we're doing is our opinion. And if you have similar opinions to us, then maybe you'll go watch a movie or not go watch a movie or show based on what we say. Critics, for me, like people that critique shit for a living, I have a hard time with some of that shit. Like, and the reason is because it's like, who made you an expert outside of, because no matter what a critic says, no matter whether it's food, movies, TV, sports, it doesn't matter. If you're a critic by trade, it's still your fucking opinion. And your opinion may have more quote unquote education or experience behind it. Still your fucking opinion. It's not like a master chef. And I think that's the part that frustrates me in this, when we talk about this world or any world, where you have a master chef, a professional that is obviously to the level of these chefs, even the guy that's not as good as the head chef, they actually have an expertise in making food. Most of these food critics, I would be shocked if they could fucking cook a meal.
They would be like Nicholas Holt's character.
Yeah.
leeks, leeks, and shallots and
Fucking doesn't even peel
butter.
the shallot. He just cuts that shit up and throws it in there with the fucking peel on. I'm like, what is happening right now? Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
it'd be Tyler's bullshit.
Yeah.
That was my favorite part when that course came up.
Tyler's bullshit. Yeah. Oh, dude, the freaking little quotes and shit that were all. Oh, dude, that was fantastic.
I was cackling with
Oh yeah.
glee every single time it talked about it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There was me and then two other people in the theater, and we were just laughing our asses off at just random shit because it would just randomly pop up, right? Like Tyler's bullshit at course number 4 or whatever it was. Shit was great. Shit was great.
And we talked about it a little bit, but I would have liked for that hunt that they had to go a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Because it was funny. You have 45 seconds. The one guy takes off, which is me. I would have just, okay, I gotta go.
Shit.
And then you have freaking the actor guy who's like, hey, can you hold my coat? And
Yeah.
Nicholas Holt just doesn't even run at all. He's just sitting there like, I'm good. And then
Yeah.
finally like walks off screen, just real slow and nonchalant. And then it shows them all getting rounded up. And then you have the one guy who's like hiding in the chicken coop, and they give him a present for being the last person caught.
Yeah, they give him a fucking dish, like some food to fucking eat because of the. Oh, that was great.
And they're all terrified this entire time. It's like, here's your dinner, or here's your treat for being the last one caught.
Yeah, and it was an egg
Yeah.
as he's hiding in the chicken coop. It's like a fucking Dutch egg or some shit like that. Oh, it was great.
Oh, I was laughing so hard, which is bad because I still have my cough.
Oh,
so I was
yeah.
like, laugh, hack.
Yeah, I think that's the, and I'm with you, like that, especially that moment. Like I think I could have lived with the rest of the scene, but like when they cut him loose to like, and I was laughing because I was like, what are you gonna fucking do? You're on an island. Like, where are you
gonna
go? Like, what? They've already told her she can't leave because there's no boat. Like, what the fuck's happening? And then, like, it was just this, and they found, the one dude found some dinghy or something that he's trying to push out into the water. And so I was like, I'm with you. Like, I think that in that moment, they had a chance to like have a couple of deaths that could have been really good. That would have, to me, I think, solidified it as a great movie instead of just an interesting, good movie. Because to me, that's what I was missing. I was just missing a couple of more pieces of gratuitous violence in a movie that, to me, advertised itself that way. And that's all I wanted was the hunt. Yeah. So.
Yeah, because you can have so much fun with that.
Oh, yeah.
Or even the, when they bring out the birthday cake for the guy. Because his one buddy told him it was his birthday. Like, you could have fun with that moment, too, and make it some sort of gruesome, violent thing because they clearly know it's not his birthday. Because they know everything about these people. They did research on them.
Mm-hmm.
So you could throw in a little, drop a razor blade in the cake or something like that.
Yeah.
Just for kicks and giggles.
Sure. And I thought that, I had that similar thought. I was like, man, why wouldn't you just put poison in that cake? Like, and make him eat the cake, right? And then that's the only kind of food death, because it kind of counterbalances. You're like, here, eat. You have to eat.
It's your
but
birthday.
If the food's killing people, they're not going to keep eating it. But this dude, it's near the end of it, right? So it's just like, here's your cake, here's your dessert. Eat it, and then he dies because it's poison, or like you said, there's like razor blade or whatever it is. Yeah, they missed a moment there because that moment was hilarious. You told him it was my birthday. It seemed funny at the time.
3 hours ago.
Yeah. Also a piece given away by the fucking trailer, but what a great line. But the other piece that got me laughing really funny, really hard was like Tyler, Nicholas Holt's character, like where he kept asking, "Do you think Chef's mad at me?" Like where he was so worried about this dude being pissed off, and I'm like, he's going to kill you. Like
it doesn't matter if he likes you or not.
Fuck, it's just like, oh my god. Yeah, you don't think Chef's mad at me, dude? Fuck, I loved it. It's great.
Oh, it's so funny.
The other genius line, there was another one, and I don't remember what it was, but there was one. I wish I could remember. It was a serious line near the end that Ralph Fiennes was giving, like kind of like this whole life story piece. And I forget what he said, but I was like, oh, damn, that's a good line. But I didn't remember it because I just had so much going on this week. But another piece that made me laugh that I was like, oh, fuck, that's cold, was the poor little assistant for the actor. When he's asking her, where'd you go to school? She goes, Brown. And he's like, do you have any student loans? No, you're going to die tonight. It's just like, that's fucking cold blooded. Like, you're not in a shitty position because of student loans, so you're fucked.
Yeah. Well, it was also the Dr. Sunflower or whatever it
Oh,
was.
fuck yeah.
He's like, I hated Dr. Sunflower. Like, I had one day off a month and I went to go see your shitty movie. And the dude's like, I didn't direct it. I was just the actor.
Well, and then even better than that was like the moment that they thought they were getting away, and like the guy, their sous chef dressed up like border or the what's the
Coast
fucking
Guard.
Coast Guard comes in, and then he praises the actor for the very movie that's getting him killed. Like that shit was so fucking rude. This movie was so cold hearted, and I think that's the best part overall is just how there was no mercy shit. Like it was just cold the whole time.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. And I did think that the as much as I shit on it, like the end where he turns the s'more into like the whole restaurant into it, and he's putting like fucking chocolate hats on them and like the vests of like marshmallows, and he's just like shitting on the dish as a whole. And I love s'mores, so I'm sitting there going, oh fuck, but I love s'mores. But then like, and then he uses it and he's just like, fire is the catalyst, and like just burns everybody.
Well, before that, he made them pay.
Oh, that's right.
That's like right. While they're putting their vests on them,
oh, shit.
Going around collecting the credit cards,
and they're all fucking signing the credits. Oh, that's great. Oh, I forgot all about that he made them actually pay.
He talks about there's no tips here or whatever.
It's all built in. Oh my god.
And everybody's gonna be dying here in 30 seconds.
He literally just made you pay to die for him to kill you. Oh my god, that shit's. I forgot all about the fact that he made them pay, and actually was like, okay, now's a matter of payment before dessert. Fuck, what a great. That shit was hilarious. I was
laughing so hard because everybody's just like at this point just resigned to it, and they're tossing their cards on the table.
Yeah, it was fucking great. Oh man, it's an interesting movie. And the more we talk about it, the more interesting it seemed to me. And it's another one of these ones where like it's unfortunate because I don't think a lot of people are seeing it right now. I think Black Panther's like completely dominating and it should be. But I think this is a sleeper movie. Like if you're looking for just something weird and quirky, and it's not long, it's under 2 hours long, really funny. Yeah.
But a really funny, you gotta go in there and look for the humor funny. It's
not
spoon fed to you. You gotta actually pay attention to what's going on. There's no laugh track to help you out, or
well, and you gotta pay attention to like the little allegories that are in there, right? Like you gotta watch for the metaphors and the fact that there's this overarching or underlying theme, whichever one you want to call it, or a little bit of both, even like where there's some serious, while it's some serious satire across the board, there's also some serious issues that are called out, like, and probably some good points that are made about the lavishness of our culture, especially American culture, where the most important thing to us is looking like we're, keeping up with the Joneses, right? Where we go and eat a $1,250 meal. And at some point you think you can bully your way out of a terrible experience because of your money and who you are. Like, and I thought it was very ironic. Like the Wall Street guys or the investor guys were like throwing around the name of the angel investor. Like that's going to save them. And then they have to watch him drown like a scene later. Like, it's just so, there's so many cool little underlying stories that are like serious points of, hey, pay attention, because we're talking about real shit in a very interesting, funny, horrific type way. But they're actual real issues in the way that people probably act in a lot of situations.
Oh yeah, definitely. The people who spend $1,250 on a plate at a restaurant are not nice people.
No, no,
Because the people who like have that money to throw away don't spend $1,250 on a plate at a restaurant. They're
no.
going to freaking some sports bar to get their dinner.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's yeah. And if you are like spending $1,250 on 5 plates that typically are like the size of a fucking $50 or less, like fuck off. Like you're wasting your money on the wrong things. Like you just there's so many different. Even if, and I'm not saying go throw it at a charity. I'm not one of these people that like is high and mighty on my soapbox and says you could do great things with that money. Yes, you could, but
You
I'm
could
not gonna
also
go.
buy something that's going to
Yeah,
give you far more enjoyment. You know how many Jack in the Box tacos you can get for $1,250?
no shit.
Like
Why?
2,500 Jack in the Box tacos.
Yeah. Why am I gonna go spend $1,250 on a meal that barely fills me up when I could go to freaking like you know, anywhere else that serves a good amount of food that fills me up for $20 or $10
Yeah.
or $30. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's crazy. I kept trying to think of was a Pete's Fish and Chips there in Arizona. Oh,
Hey,
dude. Go
20
get you.
bucks. Get like a
Dude.
full side of fish,
Hell
half a
yeah.
dozen shrimp,
Get the
and get into food coma.
triple monster burger with no ketchup because they don't serve ketchup at that joint, but they have a
Mm-mm.
really good Pete sauce. Oh god, now I gotta go to Arizona just for Pete's Fish and Chips. I used to eat that shit on the regular. Love that place. Anyway,
It's very
yeah,
good.
fuck off with your $12.50 a plate for a medallion of fucking food. Like Jesus. Anyway, all right, you ready to rate this thing?
Let's do it.
All right, Alec, you go first, buddy.
Okay. So I really had fun watching this. I had a lot of fun giggling, laughing. I enjoyed the satire. I enjoyed the stick it to the, people who think they have enough money to throw away at $1,250 of food when it's really not worth that much. I enjoyed the kind of what brought it all together at the end, where you have Anya Taylor-Joy, who's got her cheeseburger, and the way she gets out is by saying, "Hey, my eyes were a little bit bigger than my stomach. Can I take it to go?" And the dude's like, he's just straight in service mode. Okay, yeah, let me go get you a bag, type of a thing. And that kind
Mm-hmm.
of whole byplay was just really well done.
Mm-hmm.
Like JJ said, I could have done with a little bit more gore. Typically, I'm not that kind of person, but there was options for it where you could even do it off screen or just in the kind of background. And we really only had a couple of deaths. And from kind of how this movie was marketed to where it looked like we were going to be losing someone every 5 minutes, and Anya Taylor-Joy's character is the last person alive. It was a bit of a shock for me, but I still really enjoyed it. I think I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. It was phenomenal viewing experience, and like JJ said, it's been kind of going under the radar. We watched it in a small theater, so there wasn't very many people in there, but it's an amazing movie. Go see it.
Agreed. Yeah, I went in it's kind of middling expectations because it seemed like from the preview my kind of movie, right? Like a little bit of horror, a little bit of silly comedy, part of the horror. Like I'm a big Scream fan because I like comedy horror. I like those type movies. So I went into it with different expectations, but I think I came out just as pleased as I would have been if it was a full-on horror comedy. Like I said, I'm with you. I think the only thing it was missing to me was a little more violence, just some more gratuitous. Didn't even have to be a lot. Like I said, maybe during the hunt, one or two people bite it in some creative way, right?
Yeah, that
And
old
then
guy's bleeding out. He's
yeah,
not making
exactly,
it.
exactly. Like it was interesting to watch his finger get hacked off, and ironically, his wedding finger, obviously, which was done purposefully. But I wanted to see one of the, especially because you got 3 of these freaking
Wall Street
Wall
Bros.
Street guys. Take out one of the Wall Street bros in a really creative way. Maybe you've planted the little dinghy that he goes to get on and it's got a bomb on it, fucking blows his ass up. That shit would have been hilarious. You could have probably taken out the assistant of the actor and it wouldn't have really hindered the movie at all. Anyway, I would have loved to have seen that. Maybe again, a little more background on these characters, because there were some characters that I was very interested in knowing more about because of the situation that they were in and knowing why they were in it. It's not necessary for that. That's a nitpicky thing for me that I just think could have made the movie a little more interesting. But overall, it was a fun experience. It was an interesting movie, especially once I started getting into it, seeing the satire, seeing the underlying themes that were going through the movie. And again, just to kind of reiterate again on the reiteration, it's underrated, I think, right now. I don't think a lot of people are seeing it, and I think you should. If you're looking for a fun experience at the theater, a very different story, very different movie than what we typically see these days with all the superhero shit and the pretty cookie cutter movies. This isn't that. This is very different, very unique. So go check it out. I'm going to give it a 3.5. I think for me, I think it took itself a little too serious at moments. And like I said, I think a little more gratuitous violence would have made it, some of the lulls of trying to get your point across, a little less painful. I think they needed a little more balance for me, I guess, is the way that, but it was still a very good movie. It was much better than a lot of shit we've watched this year. So, and the acting, which we haven't really touched on other than the fact that it had a great cast, it was phenomenally acted. Ralph Fiennes is a fucking master, and Anya Taylor-Joy is always entertaining, and Nicholas Hoult really killed it. Like, he does a lot of serious roles, so seeing him in this like petulant child weirdo role, I really enjoyed. There was a lot of these actors that really killed it in this show. So yeah, very well acted. 3.5 for me. I would watch this again.
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
I think when it's streaming, I'll definitely watch it again. Like, I wouldn't venture to the theater again, but I would definitely watch it streaming. I think it'd be a funny movie to watch again. Yeah, there it is. The Menu. Interesting movie. Alec, tell everybody where they can find this, buddy.
Will do. Did the menu leave you with a rotten taste in your mouth? Let us know in the comments below if this movie was hard to swallow. Food movies are not always everyone's cup of tea, but it's not your fault if this one wasn't one of your favorites. If you enjoyed this review or just made it this far into the video, go ahead and drop us a like, as it is the best way to help us grow the channel. If you're interested in more What's Our Verdict content in your life, check us out on Patreon and consider joining us for exclusive content on that platform. Current thanks to Matson's 13 Toes, our current patron. If I was ever in a homicidal restaurant, your extra toes will surely be a boon. Again, we appreciate the listens and the constant support, and you can find us anywhere good podcasts are found. Back to you, JJ.
Oh, I appreciate that, Alec. I have to tell you, he changed his name again.
Oh, goody.
I know. I got to pull it up real quick because it's funny. It was my turn under the microscope this time. So let me pull up his name real quick. I think it's JJ's tan ass or something like that. Let me see. Here we go. Pulling it up. Yeah, JJ's tan ass.
JJ's tan ass. Oh boy.
I'm pretty sure he watched our
Sunscreen one?
sunscreen episode or something like that. So yeah, and I've got our topic chosen thanks to JJ's tan ass on our next JJ's dumb shit, which we'll be recording soon. So
nice.
Yeah, so we've got that. So that's the kind of thing you can do on our Patreon, is tell us what to watch and what to talk about. So JJ's tan ass has been making a habit of it lately, which we love. Yeah, so as always, we appreciate you tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Cinemagic out.
Whoa!